It was an extraordinary experience. Even an hour before, I felt it myself that this was something that was going to be revolutionary in the world of rock music.
The teenagers run out of the tarmac here at Melbourne Airport to greet the Beatles. Paul McCartney, the first from the plane. And here comes John Lennon.
The Beatles! They're here!
And it was pouring. I don't know if you remember, it was lashing down. And they had this plan. They said, well, all your fans are there. They've suffered the rain, so you've got to go and wave to them. You know, you can't just bomb into the building. So we said, oh, all right, you know, it's fair enough, we've got it. So we're coming around on this open truck, going around the perimeter fence of the airport, waving, you know. Pretty freaked out. It was a long journey anyway.
The downpour continued as the truckload of Beatles roared off the tarmac. The boys were drenched right through to the skin and gladly climbed into waiting saloon cars for the ride back to the hotel. And by this time, interest was shifting to the hotel, the Sheraton in King's Cross, where crowds had started to gather. Not that the crowd saw very much of the Beatles. Drenched, tired and ready for bed, they flashed past the fans in a cavalcade of cars and drove right in before they got out. The fans mobbed the entrance to the hotel, but police were there too and moved across to hem them in. Inside, the Beatles rested. They faced more public appearances in the afternoon when press conferences were scheduled. But for stand-in Jimmy Nicol, the chance was too good to miss. Ringo's ring-in left almost incognito to visit his relatives. An assurance has been given that police will do everything in their power to help the fans see the Beatles. This is Brian Bury, National Network News, Sydney.
I was in Adelaide for their arrival. The weather there was glorious, and that was the first time that I became conscious of the effect of Beatlemania on the entire population, because coming in from the airport in Adelaide into their hotel was a cavalcade of cars, and the people were lined 4 deep on each side of the road, all the way in. All the way in. I'd never seen anything like it. For the first time you can imagine what royal visits were like with the Queen driving and how we used to line up as school kids to wave. Well, it was exactly like that.
But I got to tell you, the Queen never drew as many people, or certainly never as many devoted people as the Beatles did. And of course, as I think George pointed out in one of the Sydney press conference, perhaps Her Majesty should cut some good records.
I went to a convent right in the heart of Adelaide in Victoria Square, and the nuns were very strict. We used to start school earlier and later than anyone else. And it was so heavy that we thought we'd never be able to see them because we knew they were coming to the town hall and appearing on the balcony easily. But if we had a letter signed by both our parents, we could do it. My mother, of course, signed and then had to sign for my father. She forged his signature. And I went, stood there with, I think, 300,000 people it was in the Guinness Book of Records, but I was one of them.
I think that what teenagers got out of Beatlemania, particularly girls, was this incredible sense of release. I mean, to be a teenager in 1964 in Australia, the most radical thing you could conceivably do would be to stand in a public street and scream at the top of your lungs. And to do that, and to maybe push against police barricades, and to refuse the instructions of the order of the day, people in uniforms, to move on, was an adrenaline rush that can't be described. Particularly when you had, TV commentators standing there and saying pompously, "Mother, if your daughter is out there, you should be ashamed."
The mother, the father, and the ladies and breath of this country. They shouldn't take a very, very good lesson from this. The stupidity of letting their children come into something like this and run the risks which they are all running must be hitting home very hard at this time.
And it wasn't terrible at all. It was quite wonderful, and everyone was infected by the excitement of it all. It was new. It had never happened in Melbourne, not even in the Olympic Games.
Now, I guess this is sort of like the manual of how to try to be a fan and try to get to your thing. Look, there you go. I'll go over the thing, pretend I've been run over, hoping that they'll actually ask me and put me in the car. That doesn't look, I'm actually nearly throwing up over the windscreen there. Right, so let's get around the back, and hello, they're going, so what can we do now? Okay, pretend we're part of the security, hold everyone back. Come on, Molly, be real. Oh, that was when I was Ian, sorry.
People were fainting, and I guess I should have been scared. Just people were screaming out and yelling out for them, and oh, there I am with my camera, and there's my former husband, John, there with me, and I think he was trying to protect me because I was trying to film and trying to keep people away. I'm sure Paul waved to me and smiled at me. I'm sure he saw me in that crowd because I just had that feeling, but it was just, it brings it all back. And you can see by the quality of the film that I was being jostled, people were pushing me. It was just so exciting. I was just awestruck.
Luckily, I thought, at times while I was in that crowd, I thought, I hope Mum's not watching this. But now I look at it, she probably couldn't have picked me out anyway. Although I was wearing a bright colour. But my mum was at home watching this thinking, aren't I glad that my girl isn't there? Look, see? Oh, isn't that nasty? Oh, scary.